unboxing, walkthrough and review of the Donner Hush X Pro. This is one of the more expensive of the Donner Hush range. However, when you're getting a Pro guitar in the Hush range, you're getting far more than just a guitar. So let's take a look at the Donner website first, so I can explain what I mean by this. The Hush range has really grown. I can remember when it was just one guitar. Right, I'll scroll down to their slideshow because it gives a good summary of the features of the guitar. Here you can see it's got tone simulations, and they're based on custom shop guitar models. Both electric and acoustic guitars are available. Exclusive high-tech precision real-time sampling and independent samples of each pickup. So they've obviously taken a lot of care to make sure the simulations sound right. On the next slide you can see it's got more than 30 effects, with no external pedal or external connection cable required. So they're all built into the guitar. Your portable workout practice partner. And what they're getting at there really is the fact that this guitar packs away so small you can take it anywhere. Pure Tone professional analog circuit. Rich and powerful tonal experience without turning on the included effects. So that sounds like you can use it passively. That's without turning it on or using the battery. Anyway, it says it's got a 3-way switch, a volume and tone control, Alnico 5 pickups. For non-guitarists, Alnico is the material the magnets are made of, and 5 is the strength of the magnets. The pickups are H&S configuration. Again, for non-guitarists, that's humbucker or twin coil and single coil. The next slide says rock at will, silent, unbounded still. You can enjoy rock tone even in silence. I think what they're getting at there is the fact that you can use headphones to practice, so you can hear the rock sound whilst nobody else can. Sure, you can hear the guitar being played very quietly, but you can't hear anything like you can hear through the headphones. Multiple connection options. It's got headphone monitoring, connect to an amplifier directly or using a return loop, OTG mobile connection, that's the wired mobile connection, and a Bluetooth input, that's for say backing tracks or if you're playing along to a song. Finally, it's got a built-in audio interface. The next slide is all the technical gumph. DXP system, superior audio processing, 19 amp simulations, 30 plus guitar effects, and 19 guitar tone simulations. And we're back to the beginning again. But going through those slides, you can see there's an awful lot built into this guitar. As I've been researching and making this video, I've realised there are a lot more differences between the Hush X and the Hush X Pro than I first thought. So I was originally going to put a comparison in this video, but I'll now put that into a separate video. So if you're not already subscribed, if you subscribe, you'll be notified when I upload that video. Here's the full spec of the Donner Hush X Pro, so anyone who wants to take a look at it can pause here. Right, let's get on with the unboxing. The unboxing of the Donner Hush X Pro. As you'd expect, the box it arrived in is considerably smaller than a regular guitar. However, it is longer than a guitar. And this box looks like it's seen better days. So let's hope everything's alright inside. As usual, I'm speeding up the unboxing so it isn't quite so boring. I forgot to mention that this was sent from the UK Donner website, and it's actually been double boxed because the factory box is inside the outer box and this box isn't damaged at all. Right, let's get this box open. I'm speeding this bit up a little bit more because it's really fidgety and it's taking time to get open. But I want to try and keep the box intact just in case I have to send the guitar back. Though I've never actually had to send a Donner guitar back yet. And there's our first look at what's in the box. And the guitar is safely stowed away in its case. I've reviewed the whole of the Donner Hush range now, but it never ceases to amaze me how small, light and tidy these cases are, and they're really well made. I suppose it's designed for travel, so they've made it so the guitar can be packed away really safely and really conveniently. The case has got two clearly defined sections, each with its own set of zips, so you access them separately. The top section contains the rests for the guitar and all the accessories. Underneath that is the bottom section that just contains the guitar, and between the two sections there's a good amount of padding, so the rests and the accessories can't bang against the guitar and damage it. We're nearly there now. There's a few extra layers of protection just to keep the guitar safe during shipping, and we'll be able to have a proper look at the guitar. At first sight, my first thoughts are that they've really stuck to the original Hush design. However, the binding's new, and that looks really nice. However, the pickups are covered. On the Hush X, they were open pickups. And it kind of looks like something Kiss might play. Before we go any further, I'll just give the guitar a good first charge. I'm just using my mobile phone charger. That's a nice touch. The power and effects knob acts as a charge indicator, and it goes red whilst the guitar's charging and then turns green when it's charged up. I think it must have been already pretty well charged because it only took a couple of minutes to charge up. Right, I'll just remove the last bits of protection from the guitar so we can see how it should look. Before I remove all the protection, I want to show you this sticker because it's quite important, and they stick it on in two places where the rests are attached. I'll explain what this sticker's referring to later in the video, but it is important to make note of it when you remove it, because we get kind of blind to warning stickers these days because they're so common, but this is one you should take note of. And here's the main body of the guitar once it's been unpacked. I had to give it a quick dust down because there was a lot of factory dust on it, but it all looks in good order to me. Right, I'll empty the accessories side of the case so we can take a look what accessories come with a guitar, but also so I can get the rests out and put them on the guitar. As well as the stands, the accessories include the full instructions, a quick start guide, a card with some links on it, a cleaning cloth, a USB Type-C lead, a small bag with some earphones in, a strap for the case, a strap for the guitar, and a small bag with a couple of plectrums, some spare grub screws, and a tool to adjust the truss rod. Finally, there's a guitar lead. Basically, you've got everything you need to get started. Right, I'll put the rests on the guitar now so we can take a proper look at it. And the rests are really solidly made. They're thick metal and I can't imagine anyone managing to break these. If you were to buy one of the Hush range, before you put the rests on, I recommend you lay the guitar and the rests out on either a desk or the floor, just so you can see how the rests fit before you start trying to fit them. And this is where I really have to refer back to that sticker with the warning on. Looking at the rests, you'll notice there's a shim that can be pulled back and it springs back into place. When you fit the rest, you should pull this shim back, and then when you think the rest is fitted, you should release the shim and it should move back into place. If it doesn't move back into place, then the rest isn't fitted properly and it's in danger of falling off. So make sure that shim has gone properly forward before you put any weight on the rest or try to pick the guitar up by it. And here's how the guitar looks with the rests in place. I'll play a slideshow now of the guitar in detail, and I'll put a backing track over it being played on the guitar. I discovered quite a lot whilst making that test. And the first thing, whilst it sounds a bit counterintuitive, and that is that a sound test is almost pointless on this guitar because there's so many sounds available on it that you could never really get a good idea of what the guitar could do within a review like this. And whilst I said at the beginning it looks a bit heavy metal, and I did that sound test accordingly, in actual fact there's more clean sounds on the guitar than there are dirty sounds, and the clean sounds are remarkably good. The sounds are stored in 6 banks and there's 3 patches per bank. And they're all accessed from the control knob on the front of the guitar, which I left the sticker on. And the variation in sound doesn't stop here, because there's quite a difference between the pickups. So once you've selected the patch you want, you would then want to select which pickup you'd like to use. And for some reason with this guitar, the pickup position sounds are markedly different. So if you take the number of banks timed by the number of patches and then times this by the pickup positions, there's 54 different sound options before you even get started editing the sounds. And all these different sounds are easily accessible using the controls on the front of the guitar. By rotating the main controller, you can go through the different banks from A to F. And by pressing on the main controller, you go through the different patches 1, 2 and 3. The pickup selector has 3 positions. In the first position, it's the bridge humbucker pickup. In the middle position, it's both the humbucker and the single coil pickup. And in the third position, it's just the single coil neck pickup. The pickups are a plastic covered type, so looking at them doesn't tell me very much. So I decided to take a look at them using magnetic field viewing film. And what I found was that the strength of the magnets is really strong and the magnetic field is really uniform. And this confirms what they say in their description, that the magnets are Alnico 5. For those of you who aren't really into guitars, a uniform magnetic field is important because if there's any weaknesses, then you'll get a quieter string where the weakness is. So you can end up with some strings being louder than others. But that won't be a problem with this guitar. Something else I discovered that I thought was a really good feature is the fact if you turn the guitar off, it acts as a regular electric guitar, i.e. it's passive. So you can still select between the pickups and use the volume and tone control, and the output will be just the same as any other electric guitar. So if you want to go between using the internal effects and using your own external effects, you can do really easily. Going back to the original test now, there's something I have to point out, because I know that a lot of my viewers are in the know and very observant, and they would have noticed it, and that's this. Listening to this clip, there's 2 places where the guitar signal dies and it shouldn't. See if you can hear them. If you got them, well done. If not, here they are again, but this time I'll mark where they are so you can see as well as hear when the dead patches occur. At first I thought this might be an issue, but after taking a close look at the patch D3 and editing it slightly, I found that this was actually caused by the noise gate being too high. And there was 2 ways of easily getting rid of this problem. Either reduce the level of the noise gate or increase the gain on the guitar. Either way, the take home from this is that if the sound isn't quite to your liking, you can easily change it and then resave it, or you can create your own sound from scratch if you prefer. At this point, it's worth looking at the controls and the input outputs on the guitar. And the first set of controls is on the front, and I would consider these to be the playing controls, because here you've got the volume is the outer ring and the tone is the inner ring. You've got the pickup selector, and you've got the main control button, which you can use to select the different sounds. When the guitar's turned off, so you're playing it as a passive instrument, the pickup selector, the tone and the volume still work, but none of the other controls will work. On the bottom of the guitar is the main output socket, which is a standard 1/4 inch jack. And next to that is the headphone socket. Next, there's a small hole where the reset button is, and you can use this to reset the guitar if ever it freezes up. You can use the smallest provided Allen key to push on that if ever you have to. The final socket is for a USB Type-C lead, which you use primarily for charging up the built-in battery. However, if you go to the Donner website, you can download their software, which you can use to manage the IRs in the guitar, or impulse responses. You can also use the guitar as a sound card, so you can record and play back whatever you're playing. And they've provided an ASIO interface, so you can link your guitar up with most DAWs. Moving around to the top control panel, this is mainly the sound editing panel. However, there are some other features here as well. For example, the first button is the Bluetooth button, and you can use this to turn the Bluetooth on and to connect to different devices. The Bluetooth is an input, so you can play backing tracks or any MP3s through the guitar, and it'll mix in with the guitar signal. This can be useful for practicing. Next to this is a flashing button that is the tap stroke tuner button. A long press on this activates the tuner. When you're not using this button for tuning, you use it for adjusting the speed of modulation effects like tremolo, chorus or phaser, or you use it for adjusting the speed of delay or echo. And to use this control, you can either use a short tap and then use the value control to adjust the speed, or you can tap the control in time with the speed you want. The next control is the effects select control, and this allows you to select which effects you want to activate or deactivate or edit. Next is the value control that you can use to edit the effects. By pressing on the value control, you can activate and deactivate effects or edit them, and you change the values by rotating the value control. Finally, we've got the all-important OLED screen, which tells you what sound you're on or what editing you're doing. Interestingly, as you go through the different patches, it highlights which effects are being used for that particular patch. So for the patch A1, you're only using an amp simulator. Considering how much is involved with this guitar, the control system is really easy to navigate. I've only been using this guitar for a few days, and already I can easily navigate the guitar without using the instructions, and I can easily find everything I want. So far, I've only looked at this guitar for the electronics and what it can do. So now let's take a good look at the guitar as a guitar, starting at the headstock, or where the headstock would normally be. All the metalwork is really well finished, and it looks like it's powder coated in a gunmetal grey. And the string anchors are double bolted for security. And I'm happy to say, on this Hush guitar, they've got the loop which is really useful for hanging the guitar up. I don't know what material the nut's made of, but it's pretty irrelevant anyway really, because they're using a 0 fret, which is one of my favourite systems. The neck is a thin C shape and it's really comfortable to play, and the neck and the body is mahogany with a through neck build, and the fretboard is HPL or high pressure laminate, and I've tried a few guitars in this material now and it ages really well. The fingerboard has got a 14-inch diameter and the frets are really nicely finished. The edges are beautifully rounded and there isn't a sharp edge in sight. The action and the neck relief are really good. I haven't had to adjust them at all yet, though I probably will in the future just to get it exactly to how I like it. With this in mind, the truss rod adjustment is really accessible and it's on the body side, and it's the spoke wheel type adjustment. Where the neck meets the body, the finish is really nice and well finished. However, on this guitar, I've noticed the grain is more open than on the other Hush guitars I've reviewed, so you can actually see the grain through the wood in places, which is quite nice really. The back and the sides of the guitar are matte black, but the front of the guitar is a very dark grey with a slight metallic finish, and it's got a really nice white binding all around the edge of the body. On the back of the body is a removable panel, so when it's time to change the strings you can access the end of the strings. And on the back of the panel they've put 2 Allen keys, one's for adjusting the saddles and the second is for removing the strings where they anchor at the head of the guitar. All the metalwork is very solid and quite heavy duty, and you can see this with the bridge tailpiece, which allows you to tune the guitar easily and the tuning stays very stable. The pickups, which we mentioned earlier, are the plastic covered type, and there's a humbucker by the bridge and a single coil pickup by the neck, and they're both made by Donner themselves. The pickup selector switch, I'm pleased to say, is a metal one, and it's a small switch with a really solid click. It feels like it should last for years. The strap buttons are finished in a gloss black finish, and they're good quality ones. However, I have had reports that the balance is off on these guitars, though I've never had that problem. But in honesty, I hardly ever use a strap. When I reviewed the Donner Hush iPro, I got a lot of questions about the battery, so I'll address those now. The first thing is, you can actually use the guitar without the battery because you can use it in passive mode. However, you can also use the guitar whilst the battery's charging or with an external power supply. So with all those options, I don't think there's anything to worry about for a long time. Here's a very quick test of every single sound just using a very short riff with a D, A and G6. Hopefully that gives you some idea of what's available in the guitar. However, really, you should gear the tune to the particular sound, or the other way around. And remember, you can edit all the sounds. So if it's close to what you want, but not quite there, with a little bit of a tweak, you can get it there. Or if you prefer, you can create your own sounds from scratch. Something I recommend when you get any multi-effects or guitar with multi-effects in them is go through all the effects and balance off the volume to your system. Otherwise you could end up blowing your speakers out, because they can go between very quiet and very loud very quickly. And remember, any changes you do should be saved before you turn the guitar off, otherwise they'll be lost. One thing I haven't covered so far is the fact that it's got a built-in tuner. So if you press down the tap stroke tuner button for a couple of seconds, it goes into tuner mode. And whilst I've been making this video and testing the guitar, I've had to tune it a few times, and the tuner's really easy to access and very accurate. And in my mind, this is something that's missing from the lower models. Right, let's have a quick look at the accessories and the case before we do the conclusion, because this video's been going on for over half an hour already. Working through the accessories in the order they appear in this picture, I'll start with the paperwork. And the instructions and quick start guide are essential with a guitar like this, because there's so much more to it than just the guitar. And there's all the information you need in the instructions. It's very detailed, and you'll find everything you need if you get stuck. The USB lead is a Type A to a Type C, and it's only about 1 meter long, but it's very good quality. And it's even got a ferrite core on it to prevent interference. So the lead is clearly designed to be used as a data lead as well as a charging lead. In the little white bag is a set of earphones, and they've not skimped on these either. They're really nice quality, and they're designed so they hoop over the ear, so they're less likely to fall out. And they've provided several different sizes of earbuds as well, so you can find the size that's best suited to yourself. The strap they've provided is made of the same sort of stuff that seat belts are made of, and they've got faux leather ends so they fit tightly to the guitar, and they're adjustable using a plastic self-gripping buckle, which works really well. I don't know if it was intended, but the way the label's stuck on, a pick can fit perfectly behind it. The part of the accessories that looks the least important is actually probably the most important. And that's because it contains the special tool you'll need to adjust the truss rod, and also some spare grub screws. And these are for where the strings anchor in the headstock. And they're very small and very easy to lose, so it's really good to have some spares. There's also a couple of picks of different sizes, which is always useful to have. The last thing I'll show you before we take a look at the case is the provided lead. And this is a bit of a paradox, because some things about it say it isn't quality, but other things say it is. The plugs on the end are the moulded type, so they're non-serviceable. Most good leads have a serviceable jack plug, which is metal and can be screwed apart. However, the quality of the wire is better than some of the high quality leads I've got. It's quite thick and quite sturdy. So, whilst it isn't the best lead in the world, it's definitely not the worst either. and it'll certainly do to get you started, or if you've already got a good quality lead, it'll do as a spare. You'll notice there was one accessory I ignored, and that's because it's the strap for the case. So I'll put that on the case now, and then we can take a look at that. The strap clips onto the back of the case, and it's got one strong metal loop at the top and two strong metal loops at the bottom, so you can decide which side you want to clip the strap to. And new to this case is an elasticated band by the strap, which I assume you use to tuck the strap away when you're not using it, because it's got two very strong handles on the top as well, and these are actually made of metal. Because there's two compartments, one for the accessories and one for the guitar, there's 4 zips, 2 for each compartment. And the zips are really good quality. They're solid and they feel good when you draw them back and forward. There's no stiff points. And alongside one of the zips is a reflective strip, making it easy to see at night in the headlights of a car. Now that, and the embroidered Donna Hush guitar on the front of the case, takes it up to another level, and it shows they haven't just thrown in the cheapest case. They've actually spent some money on getting it right and thought about the design. Now, to be real here, it is a travel guitar, so when you're moving around you're going to have the guitar in the case, so it has to be good quality, it has to be well padded, and it has to take some abuse. And to my mind, it succeeded in all these things. If you take a look at it here on top of a Telecaster style guitar case, it's tiny. You can throw it on the back seat of your car, or if you're a passenger, put it in the footwell alongside you. Or if you're a cyclist or a pedestrian, you can use the strap and sling it over your shoulder. And when you unpack it, it's hard to believe the guitar and all the accessories managed to fit in this case. I've put the accessories back in the case now, and both of the zips are undone. Here's how long it takes to put the guitar away. "50 seconds is pretty good, though I've no idea why you'd need to pack your guitar away that quickly, but even so, it's interesting to know. My conclusion: if you're looking for more than just a guitar, if you're looking for special effects as well, then this is the one to go for. This video's been 40 minutes long so far, and I barely touched on the effects and how you can edit them. And not only does the guitar have all the effects built into it, but the guitar can be folded away and fit into a very small case. So it's perfect for travelling or storing away in a small house or bedsit. As a guitar, it does really well. The thin C-shaped neck is really comfortable to hold, and it's easy to play. And the frets are really well finished, so there isn't a sharp edge in sight, making it a pleasure to play. The fact that you can turn off the built-in effects and use it as a normal straight electric guitar is also a bonus. If you've got your own effects that you like to use, then you can use them when you're on stage or recording, and use the built-in effects for practicing. It also means if your battery goes flat, you can still keep playing, though with a flat battery you won't be able to use the headphones. Saying this, I've been using it for a week now, and I've done all the filming, and I've been messing around with the guitar in between filming sessions, and the battery's still got lots of life. So it must last for at least a few hours. Something I forgot to mention is the fact that as the battery runs down, the LED on the main controller will change colour and start flashing. So you've got a warning before it goes completely flat. Now let's bring some balance to the review. Is the guitar perfect? No, there's a couple of points that I think could be improved. However, they're not a deal breaker. The first thing is around the truss rod adjustment. The hole isn't finished at all, so it's bare wood. And this just looks untidy to me. However, it's easily fixed with a bit of masking tape and some matte black paint. The second thing I found is that the neck pickup is just a little bit noisy. And this is to be expected, I suppose, because it's a single coil pickup. But it's picking up some of the noise from the processor in the guitar, so it produces a high-pitched hiss. This problem could probably be easily sorted with a bit of screening. So I might try that and report back in a future video. However, the noise isn't serious and it's got a built-in noise gate, so you could say this is a non-problem. But to be completely honest in my review, I thought I'd point it out. So, conclusion to the conclusion. This is a really well-built, solid guitar that can be packed away neatly into a small space. And it's got more than the guitar going for it. If you were to take the effects separately, the cost would easily outweigh the whole cost of the guitar. So, from that point of view, it's really excellent value. If you want some more information on this guitar, or the price in your country, I'll put some links down below in the description. And remember, I don't get anything if you buy one of these guitars, so I've got nothing to lose if you buy or don't buy the guitar. And if you're thinking of buying one of these guitars for a Christmas present for yourself or for someone else, you might be worth waiting around for a bit, because I know they're bringing out some new colours in November. This is a picture of the actual guitars sent to me by Donna. And that's it for today's video. But in a couple of weeks I'll be releasing a video comparison between the Donna Hush X Pro and the Donna Hush X, because there's so many differences. If you want to see that video and you're not already subscribed, please like, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and then you'll be notified when I upload that video. And if you'd like to go through some free full guitar courses, you can go to my YouTube channel and take a look at the playlists, or you can go to www.ebooks4guitar.com. And there, not only will you find the videos in order, but you can also download the free PDF ebooks that go along with the guitar course. So you can print out the tablature that goes along with the lessons. Before I end the video, I have to give a really special thank you to those people who've become channel members. Their extra support keeps the channel going. And if you want to, and if you can afford it, consider becoming a channel member. It would be really helpful to the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye for now.